The nomination process for presidential candidates, presented by the Citizen Genius Project. There are two main phases of a presidential election, the primary process and the general election. The primary process is when each political party selects a candidate to represent the party in the general election. And the general election is when candidates from multiple political parties compete against each other to become president. This video is only going to focus on how someone wins a political party's nomination for president by focusing on how the process works in the context of the U.S.'s two dominant parties, the Democrats and Republicans. This process can also apply to a third party, but it won't apply to someone who runs for president without belonging to a political party. A candidate officially wins a party's nomination for president at the party's convention, but there are a number of activities that occur in the months or years leading up to that. The process starts when someone tests the waters to gauge how much support he or she is likely to have in terms of potential voters and donors. Next, the person will declare his or her candidacy for president, often by making a big announcement that seeks to attract a great deal of attention. To help with the campaign, a candidate will form a campaign team that helps to develop a message and strategy, as well as do other jobs such as fundraising, making travel arrangements, managing a website, designing a logo and slogan, and coordinating volunteers. Once a candidate raises or spends $5,000 on the campaign, he or she must file paperwork with the Federal Election Commission. Specifically, a candidate must file the Statement of Candidacy form and the Statement of Organization form. Throughout the campaign, additional paperwork must be filed, including quarterly or monthly reports on the campaign's finances and even a disclosure form detailing the candidate's personal finances. The next step is for the candidate to engage in campaign activities to build support so people donate money to finance the campaign and ultimately vote for the candidate in the primary elections and caucuses. These activities occur on an overlapping and ongoing basis. In addition to shaking hands and kissing babies, typical campaign activities include traveling around the country to make appearances, talk with voters, answer questions, make speeches, fundraise, pose for pictures, debate other candidates, seek endorsements from influential people, make advertisements, and get on state ballots in states that hold primary elections. Ultimately, a candidate strives to win delegates because the delegates select their party's nominee at the party's convention. The rules determining how delegates are won vary by state and by party. Some states hold primary elections in which people go into a voting booth, see a list of names, and select the candidate of their choosing. Other states hold caucuses. These are meetings in which people divide themselves into groups based on which candidate they support, and then try to persuade the undecided people to join them. Based on the vote totals of the primary elections and caucuses, the delegates are awarded. The Democratic and Republican parties have additional delegates that are not chosen through primaries and caucuses. The Democratic Party gives superdelegates the right to help select the party's nominee at the convention, and the Republican Party gives RNC member delegates the same privilege. These delegates are a minority of each party's total delegates. Check out another video for a more detailed explanation of Democratic and Republican delegates. Although I have been talking about how states choose delegates, it's important that I mention that both the Democratic and Republican parties allow Washington, D.C. and U.S. territories to participate in the primary process. But only the 50 states and Washington, D.C. can vote in the general election for president. After all the primary elections and caucuses are held, each party holds its presidential nominating convention. In addition to conducting party business and activities, the delegates vote to officially choose the party's nominee for president. The candidate with the majority of votes wins and becomes the party's nominee. Each party's nominee moves on to the general election, in which he or she will run against the nominees from other political parties. This has been a short overview of the nomination process for presidential candidates presented by the Citizen Genius Project.